name is Mr. Edegbele. I'm the chairman of the Administrative and Development Committee of Ogidigben Community. Sitting on my right is Pa Andrew Ebietu. He is the Olaraja of Ogidigben Community. Press conference statement on the illegal invasion and continued occupation by invaders on Ogidigben Community, 20th December 2025. Gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, we speak today with an unwavering resolve to defend our people and the integrity of the Nigerian state. This briefing is essential to expose and condemn the brazen, unprovoked aggression against Ogidigben Community on the 20th of December 2025. What some have euphemistically called a clash or misunderstanding was in fact a meticulously planned, well-funded, and barbaric armed assault designed to terrorize a peaceful community for remaining faithful to Warri Kingdom and the Olu of Warri. Historically and administrative background, Ugborodo community is not a settlement, but a federation of 5 distinct communities. Ogigborodo, which is the administrative headquarters, Ogidigben, Ajudaibo, Madanwo, and Ijaala. Geographically, Ogigborodo is on one bank of the Escravos River, while Madanwo, Ajudaibo, Ogidigben stand on the opposite bank, separated by a river more than half a kilometer wide. The communities are kilometers apart, underscoring their separate territorial identity. Administratively, Ugborodo Federation is governed by the Egaraja. Each constituent community led by an Olaraja, supported by its own traditional and administrative structure. The Ugborodo Community, the Ugborodo Community Trust, a recognized body, administers the Federation's affairs. The people of Ugborodo are Itsekiri, and the Itsekiri nation remains historically and culturally unified under one king, one language, and one traditional authority. Ugborodo, in all its federating units, remain unequivocally under the overlordship of the Olu of Warri, His Majesty Ogiame Atuwatse the Third CFR. Root of the crisis. The current crisis has been engineered by elements intent on coercing Ogidigben and the broader Ugborodo community into open defiance of the Olu's sovereignty authority. More than 3 years following the lawful removal of Chief Ayiri Emami as Olugoshere of Warri Kingdom, he and allied actors, Honorable Eritomi Thomas and associates, have waged a sustained, ruthless campaign to coerce Ugborodo into renouncing their ancestral allegiance to the Olu of Warri. Those, those resisting this ideological onslaught have been branded enemies, subjected to threats of expulsion, and subjected to systematic corrosive intimidation. The unequivocal message is that loyalty to the Olu of Warri is intolerable and must be crushed by any means necessary. Ogidigben Community has been singled out for punishment precisely because its principled refusal to abandon the Warri Kingdom. Illegal protest of 13th December 2025. On 13th of December 2025, Honorable Thomas Eritomi, Mr. Ayiri Imami, Mr. Toyo Omasholi, and their alleged sponsors and others allegedly sponsored and coordinated an illegal protest at the Chevron Extravos tank farm in Ugborodo. Mr. Emmanuel Tunu Onawaje led the protest, reinforced by hired thugs drawn from across Delta State and beyond. This action occurred without consultation or approval from the Ugborodo leadership, Ugborodo Community Trust, or relevant traditional authorities. While publicly framed around water, electricity, and employment concerns, the protest was a calculated veneer for a far more sinister agenda. Accordingly, over 95% of Ogidigben youths refused for participation, recognizing the protest as a deliberate maneuver to intimidate Chevron and provide cover for a violent assault on Ogidigben scheduled for 20th December 2025. The same day, Captain John Okpeyo Daje, an indigene of Ogidigben, was to be installed as chief of Warri Kingdom. Coordinated armed invasion of 20th December 2025. On the morning of 20th December 2025, as Ogidigben and other communities gathered at the Olu of Warri's palace to celebrate the legitimate conferment of a chieftaincy title on Captain John Okpeyo Daje, the protest at the Chevron tank farm concluded and metastasized into a full-scale assault. Armed youths mobilized from Warri, transported by 7 or more high-powered speedboats, each ferrying roughly 15 heavily armed men, crossed the Extravos River and assembled at Ayiri Imami 911 resort. The operational launchpad that the attackers unleashed a coordinated, well multi-dimensional assault on Ogidigben, penetrating from riverine, coastal, and land avenues, and firing live ammunition with reckless abandon. Eyewitnesses report that some assailants operated with the alleged backing and presence of uniformed military personnel. Overwhelmed unarmed residents, elders, women, children, and youth who fled into the bush to, to survive. Occupation, looting, and destruction. After forcing residents to evacuate, the attackers seized and occupied Ogidigben, proceeding with systematic destruction. Homes were broken into and looted. Personal belongings, cash, household items, and business assets were plundered. Conservative estimates placed the losses in hundreds of millions of naira. As of today, armed groups remain in illegal occupation of the community. They have publicly issued threats that any indigent or resident who attended or supported John Daje Okweyo's chieftaincy installation must not return. It is imperative to underscore that the same architects of chaos, Mr. Ayiri Emami, Honorable Chief Thomas Eritomi, and Omashuli Tuoyo, not only orchestrated the December 15, 2025 protest aimed at shutting down Chevron operations in Ugborodo, but did also with chilling audacity and strategic timing. The failed attempt to stampede Chevron's management was the prelude and the warning shot that signaled their readiness to escalate. Confronted with the collapse of that plan, they brazenly pivoted to Ugborodo, intent on catastrophic, if not genocidal, shutdown of the Renaissance flow station. This was no miscalculation, but a calculated escalation designed to coerce compliance through fear, to weaponize oil infrastructure against a peaceful community that has long refused to participate in the perpetual disruption of extravagant oil operations. The stakes could not be higher. A deliberate attempt to plunge a region into energy chaos, destabilize the Nigerian state, and punish an entire people for uploading their traditional allegiance. The cradle of this aggression must not be confronted decisively, without hesitation, to prevent an irreversible catastrophe. False narrative and future atrocities. During the invasion, an Itsekiri man who is not an indigent of any of the Ugborodo communities was killed, likely due to friendly fire. There is a deliberate, coordinated effort to misattribute his death to Ogidigben, which fled and remained unharmed. On 20th of December 2025, Mr. Ayiri Emami reportedly visited Ogidigben to inspect the damage and alleged expressed dissatisfaction that Chief John Okweyo Daje's house and vehicle had not been completely destroyed, after which both were set ablaze. The bulk of attackers were mobilized from Ugborodo, a community several kilometers away from Ogidigben. Our demands an urgent call for action. We hereby demand, without equivocation, 1. Immediate decisive intervention by the federal and state government to dislodge the armed invaders from Ogidigben and to restore sovereign order. Deployment of neutral professional that is number 2, deployment of neutral professional security forces to Ogidigben and other Ugborodo federating communities. To restore peace, prevent further violence, and ensure accountability. 3, an independent, transparent investigation into the invasion, property destruction, alleged involvement of political actors, and reported security complicity. 4, absolute protection for loyal citizens who uphold the Olu of Warri's traditional authority without fear of persecution or reprisal. Our people seek peace, unity, and lawful engagement. Yet, true peace cannot endure while armed mobs occupy communities with impunity. We call on the conscience and resolve of the Nigerian state to act decisively, restore justice, and prevent a further catastrophe. Thank you.
Atlantic Media and TV Group